shining bright and it's going my way. Birds in the sky and I'm singing it loud. Love is all around and I'm floating away with you. And I'm floating away with you. Throw my hands up, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright and it's going my way. Birds in the sky and I'm singing it loud. Love is all around and I'm floating away. Love is all around and I'm floating away with you.
Dave.
Okay, this kid stealing my headphones, listening to my music. Got me all nervous, Josh.
You know, I don't usually get to hear what you hear, the behind-the-scenes stuff. I just hear you and I bantering.
Yeah.
Happy Job with Josh Day, by the way.
Now, make sure you pause and smile at the camera so I get a good photo. Ready? Here you go.
That was cheesy.
That should be
Anyways.
It's good for the still photo, okay? It will work.
I was kind of having a down morning where I was kind of anxious and like, we were sitting here 5 minutes to go, and I said, you know, I got to get my attitude up.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, here, listen to the music. And he handed me the headphones, and I was like, whoa, this is really upbeat, lively music. Yeah. And it got me kind of happy.
I appreciate that. So that makes me happy here. So last night, we were, today, with the, I guess, impending snowstorm, it's pretty dry out there right now.
Yeah.
Schools are all closed. About 10:15 at night, my wife and I were sitting on the couch. She was planning her lesson plan. She's a PE teacher, and we were having fun looking at like different videos she's gonna try to like have her kids do. And I was looking through music to play on today's show, and I wanted some like lovey-dovey, upbeat, fun Valentine's Day music. And I found it, and we were both jamming. And I said, "No one at the office is gonna appreciate this music. I am so underappreciated, but I'm gonna play it anyway. Darn it!" So,
well, it made me happy today.
Yeah.
So that's really all that really matters.
That's excellent. Do you like the flowing hearts?
I do like that. I mean, Valentine, we've been doing Job with Josh now for well over a year.
This is our third Valentine's episode, I think.
And I've gotten used to your creativity when it comes towards holidays.
Yeah.
So I knew the hearts were coming today. What I didn't realize is that you were going to take my extra tie out of the office and wear that.
Well, there's a bet that no one thinks I know how to tie a tie, and I whipped this thing on and made a perfect little knot, and everyone's so impressed. And it's got a little purpley, little Valentine's Day theme. So
it does.
Yeah, I won't wear a collared shirt, never. But it's pretty close.
So I have a fun story to tell, and you told me you have a fun story too.
Yeah.
My son Alex is 10. He has taken up a love of guitar. And this is him at his latest School of Rock show. He freaking loves it. So the School of Rock is really cool, and they teach him how to play like real songs right away. And then when you get good enough, you go into this performance band, and you get to like 4 months, and then you go and play at a bar. So they take a bar that isn't being used on like a Saturday afternoon, and they bring all these parents in, and like it's awesome. And Alex, his band last time was 90s alternative rock.
Oh, my
so Dave,
oh.
I mean, it was fantastic. So
Is
like
there video?
song 2 from Blur. Oh, I have video. Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's also gotten him into listening to all this music at home, and it's just fun to hear like coming out of his room is what we grew up listening to. Remember Schmidt Hits?
Come on, that's insulting.
Well, yeah, but you apparently you don't because you stopped making them.
I can make a retro Schmidt hits for the event tonight.
I used to drive Dave to school every day because I don't know why. I was buying his friendship back then too. But in my 1990 LeBaron convertible, and every now and then he would bring a cassette tape with him that he called Schmidt hits, and he would pop it in the cassette tape, and it was great. Yeah, we used to do it all the time.
It's great. We had some fun times in that car, buying Arby's, honking at random people on the street.
Yeah. Got to be 16 again.
We were whippersnappers.
Anyways, well, you also did something fun. You had Landon's birthday.
Yeah, so I've mentioned this on a previous show, but we have kind of discovered Milwaukee for the first time in our lives, I guess. And Landon my wife and I took him to a Brewers game, and that was just a near perfect experience. It was awesome. Milwaukee is so much easier to get around. I love you, Chicago, but Milwaukee's just feels nicer, easier to get around, cheaper. So, anyways, fast forward to Landon's birthday, which was mid-January. I'm like, buddy, what do you think about going to Milwaukee Bucks game? He's like, heck yeah. So we did it. The caveat was I had to get the tallest hotel possible, and we had to stay on the highest floor possible. So I got him on the 4th floor of a hotel.
So that's Milwaukee. I mean,
that's Milwaukee.
That's about as tall as you're going to get.
Exactly right. Yep. The Bucks game was awesome. Perfect experience. Next day, I found this really cool, big industrial building called First and Bowl, B-O-W-L, and just like this warehouse full of really fun, creative games: football, bowling, basketball, Connect Four. 3 of us had a blast. All 3 of us are athletes, so it was really cool.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's Milwaukee for us.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got a couple of fun things here today, but first I think we need to start with that.
Unfun. Compliance. As always, we are a Office of Fiduciary Investment Advisors, and what you are about to hear today is not to be taken as specific advice, but for your general information only. And if you would like specific advice, of course, we are happy to provide it, but for that, you got to call our office and talk to us one-on-one.
Perfect. So, Josh, something new that I wanted to try out this month, and we've had really good feedback so far, good interaction with it. That is a random QR code. We are conducting
You
our
just
first.
wanted to try out a QR code?
Yeah, well, so this is a little awkward if you're actually watching the show from your phone. This is not going to really work. However, there's also a link in the YouTube description to our first live interactive poll. So you can either click on that link in YouTube or scan this QR code with your phone. It's a simple 1-question answer that's very relevant to today's topic. It's basically, does the Social Security Fairness Act affect you? Yeah. And there's 3 answers. So we have already 35 people respond. If you haven't responded yet, go ahead and do it. We will show you the results kind of either at the end of the show or when you're just sick of talking and you want to break it up and go look at something
so
different.
today, as Dave is saying here, today's topic is something we've never done before. It's going to be something that is very timely, but it has to do with what we call the Social Security Fairness Act, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And as we want to talk about it, there are some people who are really into it and they're dying to hear about it, and it's because it applies to them specifically. It might apply to someone who they know and care about. And there's other people who have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, and we kind of want to know where people fall in that spectrum. So that's what that poll does. And that QR code was mind-numbing to me to see on screen. Yep. So I would prefer you click on the link that is sitting below this video and you can answer that poll for us. I'd really appreciate that.
But you know what? We're men of the people, Josh. We got to give them options on how to conduct our survey.
Hey, click on. I want to see the results so far.
Oh, I thought you wanted to wait.
No, I want to see them now.
Want to spoil it? All right, let's take a second.
So here's the poll so far, and it's kind of fun. Everybody who answers it live in person, we'll see differences here, and we're seeing differences now already. So does the new Social Security Fairness Act apply to you? 28% said yes, it applies to me. 43% said no, but it does apply to somebody I know. And 30% said, what the heck is the Social Security Fairness Act and why are you talking about it? So I do want to see how that goes throughout the show. So keep answering that question. So.
And speaking of, you said something like, what the heck is a Social Security Fairness Act? Well, what the heck is Java with Josh? Because we have 17 million live viewers. Some of you probably haven't seen our show before. So what is Java? What, 17 million? Do you not believe me?
It's not our high. We went down this month.
Yeah, we're usually at like 17.8 million.
Yeah.
All right, so I said to Josh a few years ago, Josh, the world needs more of you. You don't talk enough. Anyways, I'm like, let's do a live show and let's stream it to YouTube. And then let's like send people the replay video and then that's just like take over the world with our show. And that's what we're doing. Job with Josh, a live monthly video show streaming to YouTube. What Josh and the other smart people in our office do, they get together, they come up with a very timely financial topic that affects you retirees and the soon-to-retire people, and we talk about it. And I am here, being one of the smart ones in the room,
Because we need hearts on the screen?
because we need hearts on the screen. Let me take it off. It's a little distracting. No, because if I just let him talk, you're going to fall asleep. So I'm here to say really kind of incoherent things and keep the show interessante.
I'm not that boring.
You're not. You're a jolly CPA, as I say in
Yeah,
your Social Security workshops. But that's what Java with Josh is. Next Java with Josh, folks. Let's go look at this. 1 month from today, Wednesday, March 12th. April 16th, May 14th. You're not going to remember these dates. That's
Well,
why.
that's good because we're going to have to move the April 16th. I'm going to be on an airplane for that one.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so we'll have to move that one.
Okay, we'll change that one.
Yeah.
March 12th is the next one. Just go to javawithjosh.com, plop in your email address, and we will notify you of upcoming shows. So March 12th, Josh, I think I'm gonna rearrange these two little items on your agenda. Is that okay?
Sure.
'Cause we're talking about March 12th. I think we should talk about this. for
Also on
12th.
March 12th, yeah, we are excited to show again The Psychology of Retirement. This is a documentary all about the mindset of retirees that I was lucky enough to be asked to be a executive producer on. It is narrated by my favorite financial author, Morgan Housel. Morgan is the author of The Psychology of Money, which if you're a client of ours, you know we talk about all the time. And The Psychology of Retirement is an excellent, excellent documentary. And if you want to join us, we're going to, on March 12th, we have two showings at the Yorktown Theater at 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. And we would love to have you and a guest join us for that. And if you would like to join us, reach out to our office, and Michael at our office will get you on our list and get you signed up for that.
Yeah, you can email info@fsrwealth.com, and a bunch of us get that email. We can kind of help point you in the right direction. That was one of my favorite events that we did last year, so
It
I'm
was
looking
so fun.
forward to it. Yeah, it's really
and
cool.
This movie is getting rave reviews. I'm talking to people around the country who love this movie. They're saying it's one of the best things they've ever seen on retirement. So
I'm going to add to that. If you ever have the chance to be friends with Josh, do so because he's going to buy me drinks that night too. I'm just saying. All right, moving on. Another really fun thing that is one of your favorites is
the Own Your Retirement radio show. Every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m., you get to hear my voice with my co-host, Mark Elliott. On WLS AM 890, we talk about different financial topics every week. And it's one of my favorite things to put together. So it's not live. In fact, I'm recording one later today with Mark. But we do do it during the week, and so you can hear it on Saturday mornings on WLS 890 AM.
also, I think if you go to fsrwealth.com/radio, we also have, I think I'm maybe a week behind, but we have all the historical episodes posted. You can listen to them right there on our website. So again, more Josh in your earbuds, folks. Wow. Okay. Yeah, exactly. How about this? This is a fun one.
You know, this is one of my favorite things to talk about besides taxes and Social Security.
And me.
And you, is why do we exist at FSR Wealth Strategies? And the question you get all the time is, what do you do for a living? It's one of the worst questions you can possibly get. And I always tell people, you know how most financial advisors teach you how to save money? Our job is to teach you how to spend it. And we believe that FSR Wealth Strategies exist to make retirement the best part of your life. I always tell the story at workshops that my son Alex, who I talked about earlier, who thinks he's my mini-me, will tell people that he's never met before that he can't wait till he retires. And it's those things that we always think about and those things that we always say we're going to put this off or we're going to do more of this when we retire. And retirement should be the best part of your life for many, many reasons. And our mission statement is to make sure that retirement is the best part of your life.
Yep, and that's why I'm going to go back to the hearts, because that was a very heartfelt message, Josh.
That would be, if we were doing our podcast, we'd have Full House music going.
I miss our podcast. I miss it terribly. Can we revisit that?
Yeah, we can
All right,
revisit that.
cool. All right, we've wasted enough time. Well, my last thing, I promise my last thing. We've already had 4 of you hit that like button. I feel dirty asking this week after week, but I swear to you, it helps. It really helps YouTube place our show, allows other people to find our show easier in YouTube when they do like searches for topics that we talk about. 5 of you already hit like. Thank you. If you just please hit like, that little like button. It helps go a long way. Also, subscribe to the show. I mean, duh. Who doesn't want to see this every single month? It's the best. Love you guys. I'm going to get off my soapbox, and I think we're going to let Josh get to it.
So today's topic is something different. We're not talking about the market. We're not talking about taxes. We're talking about something called the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, Dave, I want you to show my iPad sitting here in front of me. And this is a piece of art that I had AI create. I said to AI, by the way, create a slide about the Social Security Fairness Act for a presentation I want to give on YouTube. And I just wanted whatever they gave me I was going to use. I didn't care how hideous it was, but I want to notice something. They actually spelled Social Security wrong over here. And so, I mean, it's really cool the fact that you could type it in and say, hey, create this slide, and it's it. But there's always issues with this.
We had a really brief conversation a few weeks ago on how I can spot AI art within seconds. Like, it's just so disgusting to me, and other people in our office can't. Again, it's that creative part of my brain. Spot this crap, and other people can't. And so when I saw that, I think I threw up on my mouth a little bit.
You did a little bit, but
all right.
The Social Security Fairness Act is something interesting. It applies to many, many, many people, and it has to do with what we call non-covered pensions, people with non-covered pensions. That's a technical, awful term. But a non-covered pension is someone who has worked for a government entity, like a teacher, or maybe a police officer, or someone who works for a university. But quite often, those people, part of their salary goes into a pension fund as opposed to into Social Security. And so they actually don't pay into Social Security. Now, what happens, though, is those people aren't eligible for Social Security. They're eligible for their pension, and there's different rules that apply to them. And so the Social Security Fairness Act, there's a lot of pluses and minuses to those rules, but the Social Security Fairness Act, what it did is it got rid of those rules, and it made everyone who that applied to, kind of like everybody else. And I wanted to go into that today, and really what it meant to the people who were part of those government pensions.
Cool.
So
let's dig in.
By the way, in Illinois, we are one of the states that is most impacted by this act. So this is going to apply to any teachers who are on TRS. This is going to apply to a lot of university professors on SERS, any government like county employees or city employees who get IMRF. If you didn't pay into Social Security, and this will apply to you. So
I know you're excited about actually recording some new videos specifically on this topic too.
Yeah, we're going to go into a lot of depth on this topic.
Yeah.
This is kind of going to be a high-level overview, but I want to kind of go through that. So yeah, it's there now.
I'll just
Make me smaller, Dave.
I
if you
will,
could.
I will.
But if I look at here, there's two things that it impacts. And one is what we call the government pension offset. And before we get into what this Fairness Act does, you have to know what the government pension offset is. And the government pension offset is going to impact spousal benefits and survivor benefits. So the government pension offset, what it said was, first off, on a spousal benefit. So a spousal benefit for Social Security is 50% of your spouse's primary insured amount. So if you were married or were married, you're entitled to the greater of your Social Security benefit or 50% of your spouse's. So for example, if my wife's benefit was $3,000 and mine was $1,200, I'm entitled to the higher of $1,500, half of hers, or $1,200, whichever is mine. So that's a normal spousal benefit. Now, what the government pension offset did is it said, okay, if you receive a pension, and let's say your pension is $3,000 a month, first off, we take 2/3 of that pension. So 2/3 of that is $2,000. We reduce whatever your spousal benefit would have been by $2,000. So if I was entitled to $1,500, but we're going to reduce it by $2,000, I'm actually entitled to zero. So I would receive no Social Security benefits. And anyone who is married and your spouse isn't getting Social Security benefits and you're on a government pension, this is a very normal thing. You're used to seeing this. Now, survivor benefits work a little bit differently. If you are married and your spouse passes away, you get their full Social Security amount. So, for example, again, if my wife's is $3,000 and let's say mine is $1,200, and my wife passes away, I'm entitled to the higher of the two. So I would get the full $3,000. Now there is still a 2/3 offset. So if I, again, that same thing, if my pension is $3,000 and 2/3 of that, that's $2,000, they would take the $3,000, reduce it by $2,000, and I would get $1,000 in survivor benefits as someone who's on a government pension. Now, government pensions can be pretty big. They can be $6,000, $8,000 a month, and 2/3 of that is a really high number. And people who are subject to this are pretty much used to never giving any spousal benefits out of Social Security. Now, so government pension offset applies to spousal benefits. We also have what we call the windfall elimination provision. The windfall elimination provision applies to your benefit and your benefit only. So let me put this into example. My mother was a teacher. She spent almost 35 years of her life in special education in West Suburban Chicagoland. But she also worked outside of the school district. So she has a TRS, teacher's pension, but she also is eligible for Social Security because she had a job that she did pay into Social Security. So she had a Social Security benefit. So what we look at here is the windfall elimination provision is much more complicated than the government pension offset. But like if her benefit, let's say, is $1,200, there's a calculation that goes in depending on how long she works and what everything is. Well, they'll reduce it, and they may reduce it, and she might be only eligible for $900 of Social Security. So it applies to your benefit and your benefit only. Now, what the Social Security Fairness Act did is it eliminated the government pension offset and the windfall elimination provision. In fact, it eliminated it as of January 1st, 2024. Now that's where a lot of confusion comes into place because this act passed in January of 2025 and we're talking about it in February of 2025. And so there's a lot of things that happen here. And what I always want to tell people is not so you need to know that it got eliminated, but you also need to know how it applies to you in your situation. So let's look at a few things here. First off, how should you think about this? And the first one is, let's say you're single, you've never been married, and you have a primary insurance amount of 0. So primary insurance amount is your Social Security amount. If you have a primary insurance amount of 0, you're still gonna get nothing. It doesn't matter. This rule doesn't change anything. But let's say your primary insurance amount isn't 0, but it's $1,200 like my mother is, and I'm making hers up. I don't actually know what hers is. Now, instead of having it reduced to say $900, you're actually going to get the full $1,200 benefit. So you'll automatically get that higher benefit brought back up to you. So that's a good thing. You need to be aware of that. Now, what does this mean? This means, well, we'll get into what it means here in a second, but I want to go through the other areas here. Now, let's say you're married and your primary insurance amount is 0 and your spouse's primary insurance amount is $3,000. Now, if you have a pension, remember the government pension offset applies to here, so now we're worried about that government pension offset. Before, you may have been entitled to no spousal benefit. So your spousal benefit that you're entitled to is half of the $3,000 or $1,500. You're entitled to that amount, but because of the government pension offset, you probably weren't going to get anything. Now, you're actually entitled to the spousal benefit of $1,500. So that's a pretty cool thing that you have to be aware of. And so you have to think about that is when you're going to time your Social Security benefits there. The last one that I want you to think about is, let's say you're married and your primary insurance amount is $1,200 and is $1,200 and your spouse's is $3,000. In the old rules here, the $1,200 for yourself was subject to the windfall elimination provision. So you may have gotten $900 here. And again, that $900 is kind of made up. On the spousal, you're entitled to the $1,500 of spousal, but under the old rules of government pension offset, you'd get 0. So what you would do is you would choose your own benefit because 900 is better than 0. Well, now with no rules out there, with the elimination of those two, you're entitled to the higher of $1,200 or $1,500, and you're obviously going to choose the $1,500 number there. Dave, I just talked a lot. Did those things make sense of what I was talking about a little bit?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because it applies to you. Your wife is a teacher.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to talk about here a little bit, and Chuck in my office brought this up. Dave, if you go back to the power, my iPad here really quick.
Sure.
If you're single and never been married, you also have to think about the fact that maybe you should take a job outside of teaching or outside of the public sector, because if by earning a little bit each year, if you could earn, $20,000 a year for 10 years, you would drastically increase your Social Security really fast. So Social Security impacts the lower income earners at a much greater percentage. So you don't need to earn a lot of money to get $1,000 a month in Social Security. You don't need a $100,000 a year job. You can get a $20,000 a year job or a $30,000 a year job for 10 years and get, all of a sudden end up with, a couple $100 to $1,000 to $1,200 in Social Security. So if you've never even thought about getting Social Security before because you didn't think it would help you, those people might want to think about that, especially if you're in your 40s or 50s and you got the time to spread that out. That could be very beneficial.
So what should I do? I should do what now?
We'll talk off here. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, guys. Of course I'm listening.
I see him over there messing with his computer, doing all these things, trying to make this look good. So
yeah, well, I'm getting messages from Brian. It's too bright in there. So I gotta appease the.
Everyone hates the shadows.
critics.
Like the people here hate. Look at the shadows behind me. It drives people nuts. Who cares? We're doing it. We're actually on the air doing it.
Yeah.
So
Brian.
get over the shadows, Brian.
Go back to compliance stuff, nerd.
But something I always talk about in the workshops is I don't want you to know the nitty gritty of how it works. I want you to know how you should think about it. How should you think about these rules? So I have some things that I want people to go over here, and this is what I want you to think about when you think about the Social Security Fairness Act. The first is, oh good, I'm probably getting more money. And you will. This is going to impact people to the way that you are probably going to get, if you were subject to these acts before, or if you knew somebody who was, you are probably going to get more income, either from spousal benefits or a reduced windfall elimination provision. It's a good thing. The other thing you need to be aware of is this is going to cause more Social Security to be paid out. And we're already talking about the fact that Social Security is a system that is broken and needs to be fixed. Now, all the studies that have been done on this, they actually show that this isn't going to change that much in regards to how, the whole when is Social Security around a money thing. But we do have to be aware of it. It's one of those things it's going to fast forward the decisions that Congress has to make and how they fix Social Security. And if you remember, if you've been to one of my workshops, I fully believe Congress will fix Social Security. This is also the time that you should reevaluate your Social Security planning. People who had government pensions before, and I say teachers a lot because that's the biggest one we see by us, but if they never even thought about Social Security, and anyone who had this issue, they need to now reevaluate their Social Security planning, and it becomes really important to you. The last thing you should think about it is this is going to be a disaster. The implementation of this is going to be a mess. We're in a transition of we're in a transition of government, right now with a new party coming into office and President Trump doing all sorts of stuff. This bill was passed under the prior president, although it was bipartisan in what came through with it. They don't know how to fix this yet. So what they've said, and what you should be understanding, is they're going to make this retroactive. So you're entitled to your benefits from 2024. They haven't come up with how they're going to do it yet. And so just be prepared for a lot of ups and downs and news on this. But what I tell people is, first and foremost, be patient but proactive. By patience, look at those stairs, Dave. I said steps to take. And yeah, I put stairs in there. I know.
Man, that's, I can't think of the word, but.
That was an AI designed disabled. Apparently my iPad wanted to do something. Yeah. That was an AI designed piece of artwork there. Isn't that great?
It's beautiful.
I always tell my daughter Maggie all the time, Mags, use your patience. And she says, Dada, I have no patience. And she doesn't. But she's 8, almost 9. Those of us that this applies to, be patient. Don't think it's going to happen immediately, but be proactive. What do I mean by be proactive? First off, everyone should have a Social Security SSA.gov login, and you should check it often. They are making progress on this. In fact, if you go to their website, they'll say the windfall elimination provision, the government pension offset are gone. And if you were entitled to benefits, they tell you they're going to pay them out. Now, where I tell people is there's a lot of people who had the government pension offset that they didn't even apply to Social Security because they knew they weren't going to get it. Now, a lot of times the retroactiveness, if that is an actual term, only is going to go back to the day that you apply for Social Security. So if you applied at 62 or 66 or whatever your age was and you got turned down, you at least have an application in and they'll pay you back those retroactive payments. But if you've never applied, they don't even know you want it. And so what I tell people is if you haven't applied and you think you should, and because now you're eligible, get that application in and get that start date as early as you possibly can, because when they make those payments, you want to make sure that you're eligible for them. So that applies to anyone, especially, so if you're over age 67 right now and you're entitled to spousal benefits, but you have never applied for them, apply for them immediately. Even if you don't get them right away, you want to make sure when they do pay out those retroactive benefits, you're getting them as much as you can. If you're younger than 67, there's actually some additional thoughts that have to go into it. So I can't, most likely we'll tell you to apply for it, but anyone over than that, yes, you should apply without a doubt. So there's some big changes coming, and this is a fun one. And there's going to be a lot of stuff of how, it changes planning for a lot of people, and I'm kind of excited to talk about it.
I don't know. You showed our Own Your Retirement planning process. Where does this fall into that?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. The Own Your Retirement planning process. This is what we do for all of our clients. We walk through these 5 steps, and they're not independent of each other. So we have to look at your income, we have to look at your investments, your tax planning, your health care, your long-term care, and your estate planning. Now, it actually applies to all 5 of these. And if you go to one of my Social Security workshops, you'll see how it applies to it. Income is obvious. The income is, where's your income coming from? So maybe we don't have to spend down as much of your other assets. Maybe you're going to get a higher Social Security benefit, whatever that might be. That might actually change how you invest. Like, you might actually be able to be more aggressive with some of your assets because you're not going to need to spend them right away. Tax planning, this is actually bigger than people probably realize here, is because of the fact that the Social Security is additional income. And if you have that income, you have to realize that that income could impact the taxes you pay on your other assets, and you're getting more of it. Now, just because you pay more taxes, you're still netting more money, but just be aware of how it's going to impact your taxes and everything else. Healthcare and long-term care, this is additional income you can use to pay for healthcare. And so maybe you weren't entitled to a pension before or a Social Security before. Maybe you don't need as much long-term care benefits. And now, I almost never tell anyone they don't need any more long-term care benefits, but that's something that's out there. And legacy and estate planning, I always tell people, if it's important for you to leave money to the next generation, Social Security is not an asset you can leave to the next generation, but it does change how you plan for that. So maybe you are able to leave more money to the next generation because you don't have to spend those assets down. And so this applies to everything. The easy one to look at is the retirement income plan, because of the fact that it's income. But we know that income applies to everything else is out there.
I mean, my summary here is pretty simple. This is a huge change. It's going to affect a lot of people, and like everything else, just you need to be proactive. Be proactive, people. And
did AI write that summary for you?
What's that?
Did AI write that summary for you?
I am AI, baby. I am. No, but SSA.gov, though, you do mention it in every single workshop, and I think 90% of people usually raise their hand like, yeah, I've been to the website. But
people are getting more and more proactive. They know they know the Social Security website, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. One last little soapbox moment. Thank you to 15 people that have hit that like button. There's a couple, 6.9 million of you that have not.
So if you would, it would make Dave really happy. Yeah. And really what I care about in life is making Dave happy.
And that's how I get paid, is by the number of YouTube likes. Just kidding. No, I don't. But hit that like button. People will find our show, and it is awesome.
Maybe we should do that.
What's that?
Make your salary commensurate to the number of YouTube likes.
Please don't. Or I'll start posting some really cool videos on our channel. I don't have any pre-submitted or live questions, Joshua, but I do know that you're going to be doing other videos on this, and so if you're on our any of our email clubs, you will be notified when we kind of post new content around this topic.
Yeah, and check it out on our LinkedIn page too. If you don't follow us on our LinkedIn page for FSR Wealth, I suggest you do, because that's where all this content usually ends up, in between that and Facebook.
Let me be clear, your personal LinkedIn profile.
My personal LinkedIn profile.
Your marketing department is pretty lame, me, and I don't really post much on our company LinkedIn page.
Oh yeah, so find me.
Yeah,
find me.
Josh.
I'd love to find you.
Yeah. I promise I will start posting on our company page as soon as I get a break. All right. So how are we thinking here? I'm going to start playing the close.
Oh, it's romantic.
Yeah, of course it's romantic, Josh. It's you and
I
I.
do
with
look
my
washed out in white.
Yeah, it's because of the background. Yeah, it's some fancy animation things going on, but you're pretty pasty to begin with.
And it's February in Chicago.
Yeah. Hey, happy Valentine's Day, brother.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Cheers.
I wish you nothing but love.
Oh, smile. You're the best. Bye.
And I'm singing it loud. Love is all around. I'm floating away. Throw my hands up. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright and it's going my way. Birds in the sky and I'm singing it loud. Love is all around and I'm floating away with you.